Adrienne feels the adrenaline flowing through her body. Her heart beats quickly as she tries to take a deep breath and calm down. She didn't know what her boss was going to say, but she made her best excuses anyway. She only expressed herself, "Are women not allowed to do that?" All of her tense thoughts were broken by the booming voice of her boss. "Adrienne, come in." She got up slowly and went into the office. However, as she stepped through the door, she felt her stomach twist with knots when she knew something was wrong. From that day on, their life would never be the same. Adrienne was so passionate about her job. She lived in Dresden. Dresden was like any other city and had its fair share of crime. That made it so important that Adrienne did her best when it came to her job. It had been a long time since she had trained, and now she was a full officer with experience. In the years she was on duty, she had never had an incident, only one day. Adrienne was almost as passionate about the gym as she was about her job. She worked meticulously to make sure she had proper nutrition and worked out a schedule. She decided to give some insight into her workouts by posting them on social media. She didn't know what the effect would be. Not even Adrienne knew how popular their posts would be. She could never have predicted what impact they would have on her life and how they would change everything. Their posts were just training videos, but to the audience they were much more. The posts would become popular and Adrienne would become a social media icon. Adrienne really liked the attention she was getting. Their posts were admired everywhere. After her posts grew so much, it wasn't just strangers around the world seeing her posts. Soon her colleagues also saw her contributions. Adrienne loved her job as a police officer and also her social media presence. She could have both in her mind. She still gave her job everything she had, and when she got home she used her social media to enjoy herself after work. She could never have foreseen that an event would call her way of life into question. It's not like she hid her post from her job. They saw her report and so far hadn't said anything. After working as a police officer for many years, Adrienne felt that she needed a break. She applied for 6 months vacation and was confident that her Instagram sponsorships would keep the bills paid. Nobody at work seemed to have a problem with it. She wanted to treat her loyal fans. She could see no flaws in her plan, but would soon find that her dreams would be broken. After having a great time outside of her job, Adrienne returns feeling like a different person. Her social media presence had been blown up even more during her break. She now had more than 500,000 followers and people had started to refer to her as the most beautiful cop in the world, on news sites and in the media. But now that she was so popular, her colleagues were questioning her commitment to her job. They felt that their social media presence was hampering their professionalism in their careers. Her next step in dealing with the problem would make Adrienne desperate. Adrienne had seen trolls before and knew how to handle them. They tried every insult they could think of, but none of them could influence them. But what she heard from her colleagues surprised her. At the police station, her colleagues were not as impressed with her report as her fans. They didn't like the attention it was getting and thought the only thing to do was be tough. When Adrienne put on her uniform for the first time after her break and walked into the train station, she felt ready for anything. All of her colleagues seemed happy to see her. But before the day was over, her boss blinded her and asked if he could speak to her privately. She knew from his tone that something was very wrong. Her palms began to sweat as the adrenaline rushed through her body. Adrienne knew her boss was being sensible and tried to think about why he wanted to see her. It didn't stop her from questioning the situation. Was it social media? She knew it was getting everyone's attention. Was it just too much for your boss? Was she on thin ice and this was the last straw? She just hoped it wouldn't affect her career as she nervously waited for her boss to tell her what he wanted to say. Was her career over? One of the first things Adrienne's boss told her was that the crime hadn't gone away while she was away and the police department was extremely understaffed. But Adrienne was confused by what her boss was saying. Were you mad at her? Was she in trouble? Did she want to get fired? Or did they greet them with open arms because they actually needed them? She couldn't wait any longer. She had to find out now. The Dresden police needed Adrienne to be part of the force, but they were also angry. Her boss was disappointed with her for posting countless inappropriate bikini pics of herself for the whole world and claiming that this was not what a police officer should do. He also told her that the higher police authorities saw what she was doing and that they were not happy with her. Even though they didn't want to fire her, they were still angry about their pictures online. In her eyes, she had put the whole department to shame. But would they keep her working? After much discussion among themselves, the department decided to give Adrienne a choice. She could keep working at the police station if she wanted because they needed her help. However, they had a requirement from her. She would have to get rid of her other job. There was no way Adrienne could have both. If Adrienne wanted to get back to her job, she had to give up her life as an Instagram model and influencer. This also meant that she had to return all of the money she received from companies for promoting her brand. It was a big decision and Adrienne had to think a lot, but time was running out. After being silent on Instagram for a few months, Adrienne finally broke her silence. She took to Instagram to tell her fans that she would, in fact, continue to become a police officer. "I'm going to work," she said in a video she posted on Instagram. "I'm going back on the beat. I put on my uniform." And with that, she finished the video and went back to work. But would she be able to resist the temptation? After Adrienne made her decision to return to the police force, her fans and followers thought they would never hear from her again. Then Adrienne bravely began to post pictures on Instagram again. Was she openly defying her boss? And would she be fired forever this time? What happened? Adrienne had decided she was ready to give up on her dream of being an influencer, but not entirely. So she came to a compromise that she and her boss were happy with. The deal was that Adrienne would continue to post pictures and fitness videos on Instagram, but her side appearance couldn't affect her work with the police. It turned out that not only were Adrienne's colleagues unhappy with their double life, but her boyfriend was less than thrilled that her photos were visible to the world. And his demands were far more unreasonable than those of their boss. In fact, he wasn't at all ready to endure Adrienne's online fame. When Adrienne's boyfriend realized she wasn't going to end her influencer career, he ended the relationship. But Adrienne doesn't let other people's opinions of her get down. "Life isn't always a bowl of cherries," she mused, but does she regret it? When Adrienne thinks about her life and her choices, she doesn't regret her choices. She is proud of her achievements and grateful for the opportunities that life offers her. And while not everyone agrees with her lifestyle choices, she has learned to follow her heart and ignore the haters. She even managed to balance her career and passion.